Hi there, my name is Don White. I'm going to play a few songs here for something called Woodstock Wednesdays. This is put together by the Woodstock Folk Festival in Woodstock, Illinois. I was lucky enough to perform at this festival in 2014. I remember it very fondly. Everybody on stage at the end singing songs, a lovely crowd. I think that year I got to hang around with Megan McDonough for the first time. That was pretty cool. So I have great memories of this thing. I'm glad to be part of it here. They're keeping the music alive with several things. One of them is Woodstock Wednesdays. So here's a song about the other Woodstock. I wasn't at the other Woodstock, the one in 1969, but I have some thoughts about it. Here we go. Jenny's grandma went to Woodstock in 1969. She keeps her ticket stub and a chunk of mud at her house in a little shrine. She was always the girl in the hippie dress, twirling at the shows by the Grateful Dead. If you ask her about it, man, you better sit down. Grandma will talk the ears right off your head. If you get her talking about the Grateful Dead, the Summer of Love, or the Kool-Aid acid test. Jenny was always in her glory when she could hear the stories from her grandma's hippie friends about peace and love, taking care of one another, how great it all was back then. And at night she would dream of being on the bus with Keith, seeing Jimmy in 69. But when she wasn't dreaming, she always had the feeling that somehow she'd been born in the wrong time. You should have been 20 in 1969. All the gray-haired hippies say that all the time. But the cool grandchildren of the cool young women who danced in the Woodstock mud are living on the beach in Montezuma, Costa Rica, having all kinds of fun singing. There's only 1 minute if you're not living in it, and they're never coming back again. Love you, Grandma, but Baba Ram Dass never said, be there then. It's gonna take a big leap of faith if you really want to find your tribe. Those were the first words Jenny heard in a song that she found online. And that summer she drove all the way to Minnesota to the Shangri-La Festival. And there they all were, all the people like her who grew up believing that they were all alone. They said, hey girl, welcome home. Because the cool grandchildren of the cool young women who danced in the Woodstock mud are driving down the road all the way to Minnesota, having all kinds of fun singing. Jimmy and Jerry are dead and buried, and they're never coming back again. Love you, Grandma, but Baba Ram Dass never said, be there then. Jenny's grandma went to Woodstock in 1969. Since then she believed there was never gonna be a better time, and that's alright. But if you don't take your big leap of faith and get out there and find your scene, it will pass you by while you are trying to find your grandma's long gone Woodstock memories. Her Woodstock memories. While the cool grandchildren of the cool young women who danced in the Woodstock mud are living on the beach in Costa Rica, having all kinds of fun singing. There's only 1 minute if you're not living in it, and never coming back again. Love you, Grandma, but Baba Ram Dass never said, be there then. Okay, that song is from my most recent album. It's called Live at the Guthrie Center. The Guthrie Center is the church that was in the movie Alice's Restaurant. Arlo Guthrie bought the church in the 90s, I believe, and he's been doing fantastic things there. They feed people at the place. They have concerts. If you come up with an idea that will serve the community, they're pretty open to it. So I've been lucky enough to perform there several times. It's in Great Barrington, Massachusetts, and so I recorded my last album there. Here's another song from it. All the work gets done in the valley. All the money rains down on the mountain top. When the money trickles down to the people in the valley, it's only one little drop to feed the family, one little drop to pay the medical bill, one little drop to pay the mortgage to the banker who sold it to the man at the top of the hill. Oh, they work so hard to divide us with a steady stream of lies. 'Cause if we ever stop fighting with each other, we might start asking each other why. If all the work gets done in the valley, why does all the money rain down on the mountain top? When the money trickles down to the people in the valley, why is it just a little drop, one little drop to feed the family, one little drop to pay the medical bill, one little drop to pay the mortgage to the banker who sold it to the man at the top of the hill. Just keep buying those politicians and those TV newsmen too. Make them say every day that my problem is my neighbor, when I know that my problem is you. Just keep lying about corporate tax breaks, how the jobs are gonna trickle down. But beware of the day when the people say that they are sick of being trickled on. One little drop to feed the family, one little drop to pay the medical bill, one little drop to pay the mortgage to the banker who sold it to the man at the top of the hill. Enjoy your view of the valley from that house on top of the hill. Right now the giant is sleeping, that doesn't mean that it always will. 'Cause when the sleeping giant starts moving, it is impossible to stop. Every flood that ever washed a city away, you know it started with a little drop. One little drop will start an ocean, one little drop will start the rain, one little drop will start the flood that's coming to wash the gilded city away. If all of the work gets done in the valley, why does all the money rain down on the mountain top? When the money trickles down to the people in the valley, why is it just a little drop? All right. I'm going to play one more song for you. I want to thank everybody at the festival, and hopefully all this business with the COVID will be done, and we'll all be able to gather in public at what is a really awesome space in the middle of this town in Woodstock, Illinois. So I thought what I'd do here at the end is play something that I'm working on, and here's the idea for it. I live in a town called Lynn, Massachusetts. It's a tough place, you know. There's a lot of problems here, and a lot of young people growing up with parents who aren't well enough to take care of them. I guess that's the way to say that. You know, there's a fair amount of drug and alcohol problems here. So I started this open mic called Speak Up 12 years ago, and it was designed to reach the unreachable young people. You know, the ones that wouldn't come into a a church or a school or something. Some of them are homeless and like that. So we created a space for them where they can say whatever they want. Nobody told them to to stop talking that way, or there was no rules about language there. That was the primary reason for its success for getting these young people. And in the course of getting to know quite a lot of people who, well, I'm calling them young, they're in their 20s, I guess, is that I sort of reinforced this thing that I've always thought about, and that is it's kind of an underappreciated miracle. And what I mean by that is, if there's 5 children in a house where the parents are not well enough to nurture them or take care of them, and it's not a surprise when the children turn out to not be able to function well in the world. But there are a lot of examples when the opposite is true, where one of those children will figure out on their own how to be nurturing when they weren't nurtured, how to be generous when they didn't see any generosity, how to be kind when all they saw was the opposite of whatever kind, right? And I just wanted to write something for them to let them know that I appreciate the miracle of their success, and the miracle of it is that they had to do it on their own. They had to figure it out for themselves. So I'm not sure what the title of this is yet, and it probably will have more lyrics to it later. But I want to thank everybody for watching, and for the folks at the Woodstock Folk Festival for all that they're doing out there, and for inviting me to do this here. Taught by your world that empathy and kindness were the kind of things that made a person weak. They said push and grab and fight every minute of your life. You trample those between you and what you believe you need. But from the moment you were born, in your heart there was a song you could hear through all the years of fear and insecurity, singing cruelty's always weak, but love and empathy are strong enough to break the chains of selfishness and greed. Gentle is the strongest thing to be. It's not the color of your eyes, it's not your hypnotizing smile, it's not any of the many things that everyone can see. It's the way you always knew what they told you wasn't true. It's how you made yourself the person that they taught you not to be. That's what makes you beautiful to me. You know it is not your fault that heroin and alcohol made them both too ill to give their children what they really need. But it sure would have been nice to be encouraged once or twice, to feel safe at night and have a life with just a little normalcy. But from the moment you were born, in your heart there was a song you could hear through all the years of fear and insecurity, singing when there's cruel hatred in your heart, you just remember who you are, and that underneath the weight of hate your heart cannot be free. Forgiving is the stronger thing to be. It's not the color of your eyes, it's not your hypnotizing smile, it's not any of the many things that everyone can see. It's the way you always knew wasn't true. It's how you made yourself the person that they taught you not to be. Now that's what makes you beautiful. That's what makes you beautiful. That's what makes you beautiful to me. Thank you.